Hello everyone and welcome to And the Beat Goes. I'm Rebecca.
And my name is Jack. In today's episode we'll be talking about The Voice UK, The X Factor, music's top moneymakers and many, many more. First up we have The Voice UK. The UK's version of The Voice premiered on BBC to an audience of 8.4 million viewers. The American import trounced The X Factor in America. Well, the show did the same in Britain, do we think? What do you think, Rebecca?
I think it could. I think it's got the potential to do that because The X Factor's kind of run its course, really. And I mean, with the amount of talent, judges-wise, they've got on there, I mean, they've got Sir Tom Jones, who has been in music for
60-odd years.
Which is fantastic. He's really knowledgeable.
Incredible. Sir Tom Jones.
Sir Tom Jones. Don't forget the Sir part. And you've got Jessie J, who's very current. You've got will.i.am, one of the biggest producers out there at the moment. And then you've got Danny O'Donoghue,
who is also a really good producer
and really nice to look at.
Was in the script.
Yes, the script. He's good. But I mean, what do we think of the acts that were on? Do you have a particular favourite? I know that I have a favourite, definitely.
My favourite was the girl with alopecia. I thought that she had a really natural, old school soul about her, and she sung from the heart, and she sung with honesty, and I really appreciate that. It was
really raw as well. It hadn't been tweaked in any way. It wasn't like somebody had taught her. It was just completely her. And the fact that you could tell when she took the scarf off and stuff, she really wanted to do this. This is all she's ever wanted to do and never been able to do it because she's been afraid.
She was stunning.
She's so pretty.
Even with no hair, she was stunning.
She's gorgeous, really.
Did you have a particular favourite?
It's a really silly favourite, but I quite liked the Rocket Man guy that was singing at the end.
Oh, this stuff. Like he was having a fit.
It was good.
It was all just a bit too contrived. It was like an X Factor contestant had ran onto the wrong show.
But he was still, his voice was reasonable.
It was, yeah, but that was the point. It was reasonable. It wasn't amazing.
No, but then there was the...
Anybody did pick a brilliant song.
The girl that just basically ripped off Jessie J at the end.
Oh, Mama Doe's best. Nah.
Yeah.
She was good, and I think that they can do a lot with her, and I'm hoping that they'll get her out of that comfort zone of just mimicking other artists. But she just seemed a bit like a mimic to me.
If it was you, who would you want to turn around for you?
will.i.am. I just thought it was hilarious, boys and girls. I really
Jessie
did.
J, they work so well, don't they? They just bounce off.
I think that Jessie J I would get on with best out of all four of them.
But to promote you.
Similarity-wise. I think Tom Jones or will.i.am I would want to work with, though, because Tom Jones has had massive longevity, as we've talked about already.
And as pretty as Danny O'Donoghue is, I don't think he's the most knowledgeable out of the four.
Well, I don't think that he would do anything for me.
No, not doing it for me anyway. But on the note of judges and reality TV shows, the X Factor auditions are taking place as we speak, starting in Liverpool. And recently there will be a stop in Glasgow on the 1st of April. But the question is, really, is it all completely futile? I mean, after a really disappointing season that they had in the States, will it be able to regain the crown? Will it be able to gain anything from a new season? I mean, are people just going to give up on it now that The Voice is around? Jack?
It's a TV show. And it's a popular TV show, and I think
money.
that it will still stay popular, and it does make a lot of money, but I do think that it's dying out slowly. I think that The Voice is the kind of television show that people are wanting now, and now that we've seen something fresh and something new and something a bit more exciting, I think that it's going to start looking a bit
and something that's not
old-fashioned and a bit old hat now.
It's also something that's not based on anything but how The Voice sounds, really.
Well, it's not honest.
How good they are.
It's very contrived, and it's more about the judges
totally
than about the acts now. I mean, if you look last year at Frankie Carcosa, it just showed that anybody could end up going into the finalists of the X Factor, whereas if you look at The Voice, I think that there were people that got turned away that would probably make the finals of the X Factor.
And those that did get picked, however, have genuine talent and have stories behind why they want to do this.
Yeah, and they've been in it for a long
time and gotten no breaks out of it.
Yeah.
Like, for example, Anthony and the Johnsons that you were talking to me about yesterday.
Anthony Johnsons is one of my favourite bands, and I do think that if any of you are out there, go and pick up his album.
It's phenomenal.
Stunning. But what he's been doing this week, it was announced that he's been asked to curate the 19th Meltdown Festival, which takes place in August at the South Bank Centre as part of the Centre's Festival of the World event. Hegarty said that he wanted to explore issues close to his heart, ranging from the environment and spirituality to gender politics, which, as everybody knows who knows him, is a big issue for Anthony himself. Has always been a bit gender confused. So is it an event that you would actually...
It's an event I would attend. I would. And I mean, he's a great example for a lot of people that are gender confused, or that can't stand out and speak out as gay, bisexual, or asexual, whatever people happen to be. He's a great role model that people really don't know much about, and it's a really interesting concept.
And he's stunning music, and I like the fact that he brings his music into it.
He does.
He's a performance artist as well as a musician.
Yeah.
And I think that he could actually add something quite interesting to this.
He brings all
whole
aspects.
mix.
All aspects into his music to make it more interesting and diverse compared to a lot
So yeah,
of
go
things
pick
out there.
up I Am a Bird now.
It's a fantastic album.
Fantastic album. I really recommend
Beautiful.
it.
But according to a recent article published, the top 40 moneymakers in the music industry sit at Taylor Swift, who made £22.5 million, which is incredible. Followed by U2 at number 2, Kenny Chesney, Lady Gaga, but we all understand that one, Lil Wayne, who sits at number 5. I mean, some of them I can understand. Lil Wayne I can sometimes understand. But Lady Gaga is an obvious one. But what do you think about Taylor Swift sitting at number 1? I mean, I know you're not a fan.
Well, it's not that I'm not a fan, but she's not exactly big over here, and I think it's because it's an American chart, it's obviously going to be slightly different to what
It's
you
a bit
would
like Kenny
expect.
Chesney in that.
Like Kenny Chesney, I know that he won't be particularly well known over here. I don't particularly know that much about him, to be honest, boys and girls. I'm not going to pander to you. But I think that she deserves all the success, and if she's been gigging for the last year, and if she's had a massive tour,
She has.
I've
She's had a
heard.
humongous tour recently.
But that's where you're going to make your money as a musician nowadays. It's not going to be through record sales. The charts don't work the same way as they did 10 years ago when we were growing up
don't.
and it mattered.
A
where
lot
you
of
got to
download
number
sales
one.
count for more now, really.
So, yeah, it's all about gigging, and that's what Lady Gaga had her massive Monster Ball, and now she's going to be coming up with her massive Born This Way ball. Adele, I'm surprised, didn't get higher up the list. She only got to number 10.
Yeah, it was number 10. I mean,
and
after
she only made £4 million this year. But that's because she doesn't gig.
She doesn't have a huge concert
And
lineup
even
at all.
with her 1.5 million sales for someone like you alone, still hasn't made it as much money as you would expect.
No, it hasn't. But I mean, I can see why, you know, Kenny Chesney and Taylor Swift are both on that list, even though they're in minority kind of chart numbers. Because, I mean, Kenny Chesney has done a ridiculous amount for the country western scene over in the States, and he does a lot to promote it over here as much as he can. And Taylor Swift was, at one point, gigging underneath him, you know, as his warm-up act, and is now actually bigger in her own right than he is.
America's that big as well that it's going to account for a lot of your income anyway.
Exactly.
If you break it in America, you're pretty much, it's like America and China.
Pretty much there. I mean, talking of big artists who make a lot of money, Lana Del Rey.
Lana Del Rey, I really like her, Lana Del Rey. And her latest music video, Blue Jeans, which released a couple of weeks ago all over the world. This will be our third single from our fairly successful album, Born to Die. The thing that people are complaining about with Lana Del Rey, which I don't particularly feel is particularly justified, is that they feel that they've been conned by her. They feel that because she's tried to present herself as a self-discovered, self-owned artist, and now it's come out that she's had a lot of commercial backing by her music label and by her parents, and she's already had albums out under another pseudonym. And the fact that they've been wiped off of YouTube, the fact that Lizzie Grant, which is who Lana Del Rey's actual name is, the fact that all her videos have been wiped off. I mean, Lady Gaga, people can see that she's contrived, but at the end of the day, you can always go back to YouTube and look how she's been formed from Stephanie Gemini Minotta, or something along those lines.
It's like the Silly Toes thing.
She's
You can't
Italian.
pronounce that.
I know, her and Coldplay. They should just name next album Coldplay. Stephanie Gemini Minotta. But what do you think? Do you think that it's fair that she's been under fire from such criticism from the public over this?
I don't think it's fair in the sense that nobody deserves it. Nobody really wants to have the public kind of stabbing at them. But at the same time, I don't know. It's a subject that I'm a bit confused over. Really, I don't know what to say about it. She's a good artist, but
she's a brilliant artist. I've got to say, she's got one of the most controlled voices that I've heard in a very long time.
It's a really interesting voice. It's not something that a lot of people will have heard before,
and she sings beautiful songs, and she writes her own music as far as I'm aware.
Video Games was amazing. I love that song.
It was brilliant. It's just how far... And like, people are naive to think that people just come out of obscurity and suddenly become superstars. It doesn't work like that in the industry.
Money and backing and years of experience behind it. You can't just pop up there. It doesn't happen. But thinking of people that have kind of been there for a while, Katy Perry's new video, Part of Me, was premiered on the 21st March on MTV. It's her first song since her breakup with her estranged, and in my opinion, very strange husband, Russell Brand. That's a very strange match. They were a weird match to start with, weren't they?
Well, they fell in love. That happens.
I
They
mean,
fell out of love.
what do we think about the video? What do we think about the song? I mean, the song is good, but the video, Jack.
We'll take the song first. The song is a good song. It's a good pop song, and people have given a lot of criticism to her about the fact that she's written about a relationship. But people would have given her criticism if she had ignored it, and if she hadn't written about her. So given that she says that she's a songwriter, I don't know how much of her songs she actually writes herself. But no, it's a well written two finger salute to an ex, and I think that that's fine. The video, on the other hand, seems to have nothing to do with this, apart from the fact that her boyfriend in the video cheats on her in the first 30 seconds, and then it turns into a recruitment video for
the Marines.
And I feel uncomfortable about.
I don't think it has nothing to do with the song. It has no joint feeling to the song at all, really, apart from maybe the boyfriend part.
It's explicitly a recruitment video, and it's explicit that they've thrown a lot of money at her for her to do that.
They've clearly just handed her a wad of cash and said, look, we need people, please do this.
You're not that badly off, Katy Perry. You're really not.
You don't need the money. You really don't. But, I mean, people do that kind of thing, don't they? I think she's kind of sold out a tiny bit doing that.
Lady Gaga did it. She put a load of Diet Coke cans in her hair and made herself a fortune and made herself a decent video as well. I think that you can have...
But she also offended vegetarians all over the world. But
commerciality, but you can also have creativity, and I think that she didn't have any creativity with the video. She could have done it in an interesting way, and at least then she would have had something to back herself up with.
I mean, like she did with Firework and things like that.
Oh, that was just a rip-off of Beautiful.
It was a wee bit, but it was still... It went with the song, whereas... The recruitment for the Marines, not so much going with the song.
But we could hack into Katy Perry all day, and in fairness, she's been hacked into enough recently as it is. So, we'll just leave it there, and that'll wrap up the third episode of And the Beat Goes. Please check out our website, atbg.co.uk, and our Facebook and like the page, facebook.com/ATBG online. I'm Jack.
And I'm Rebecca, so tune in a couple of weeks for episode 4.
See you later, folks.
Bye. Are we done? Can I go home now? Jack, you going home?
L'chaim!